Are we doing this? Okay, we've got mic. We got background sound. Sounds like background sound to me. All right. I am streaming now, or so it would seem. Let's see here. I'm just going to pick my nose a little bit. Y'all can tune in if you want to. Oh. I'm going to go ahead and post this video into chat. There we go. Boom. Again. More credit card processing stuff. Sorry. It's got to go, and it couldn't go before for whatever reason. Just got one of those noses, you know? Clear and crystal. Interesting. Somebody commented, bless you, on one of my sneezes. I think that I'm going to go check and see what thumbnails YouTube picked for this thing. All right, let's go to YouTube Studio. Wait. Lane did not get Joe Rogan. What? Oh, okay, it's one of those. Okay, it's one of those spoof slices. Okay, I'm like, what in the world would he be? You know, where they take an interview and then they just cut it up just for gag, just for fun. All right. I'm just gonna make sure that these last couple of videos have the best thumbnail they can out of what's auto-generated. There we go. I'm going to pick that one. I'm going to go back to that one. All right. Here, I'm in the middle of a sneeze. Ooh. Yeah, I've got a really dumb face on that one. Okay, and we're ready to get started. Let's go! So I got to figure something out while it's doing that transition. Because reasons. Well, the chat window overlays the transition. I don't want it to do that. Okay. Sorry, I opened up a thing I shouldn't have opened up. It was called YouTube, and it had all these interesting things going on. All right, so last little bit here to finish this out. There was a typo in the README I just published, and then this one I figured I'd go ahead and start the stream and explain. So, generally speaking, we want the IV to be random, because we want, if we encrypt the same word hello a quadrillion times, we want it to be different every single time, the bytes that we get. We want the bytes to always appear random. However, in the case where we want to encrypt a particular value to use as an index, and this might be dumb, but I'm thinking that I want to encrypt the fingerprint, and I want to encrypt it with a particular IV, probably the same as the key. I'll probably use the same key in IV and just use the... No, I can't do that. Sorry. That would be dumb. Because the salt, the IV is a salt that's a public value. It's like a public salt. It goes with the message. Well, I guess it wouldn't have to. Let me think about this. No. Not going to go that far. So yeah, we'll just have a static value for the salt. And yeah, anyway, the point is, the IV, the initialization vector, we're going to have a static value for it. And I added this for testing purposes, but it's going to be useful for that purpose as well. So I went ahead and I added it to all of the function signatures for encrypt because it was part of some of them, but not all of them, particularly it was part of these two. So I went ahead and added it to all of them, and then for some reason that changed this. What? Oh, right. Because before I had it so that it was always inefficient, because the idea was that you weren't supposed to use it anyway, and then I changed it so that if the static IV doesn't exist, then it will create the UN8 array, a new UN8 array, and then fill it with random values. So yeah, and then we just update the version, and technically this is kind of a fix. The average Joe shouldn't be using static IVs. Well, static IVs are to be used with great care, but they are to be used. There we go. This expands all four. This fixes the other functions to accept a static IV the same as the other two. And takes care to not waste cycles on randomizing it unless when it's static. Okay. Boom. So that's that. That's all that was going on there. And then I think I already pushed this, but I'll go ahead and... Oh, whoops. There we go. Okay, and that's that. And we don't need any more about it, I don't think. So I'm getting rid of that. We'll pull this away. And then now we're actually going to work on APIs. And yes, I am existing at you. Or actually, I'm a rock and I am telepathically communicating with you and giving you this vision. I also, as a telepathic rock, have altered multiple states of the universe to create the evidence that this has happened, such that you will continue to forever believe and have no way to contradict that others didn't see it too. Thank you for the visions, Mr. Rock. You are welcome. We were having some conversation in the Discord, and I read part of the article, but I needed to get this thing started, and so as I was switching states, I didn't read the rest of it, but it looks interesting, and particularly your user ads are really weird. I don't know what this is. I don't know what Royal Road is, but I see that someone seductive died in chapter 4. I guess that's too bad. And also someone's here to help Boston. I don't know what those mean. Those are very strange ads. But I guess it has something to do with the fiction community or whatever. The world was created last Thursday. Already knew this. Yeah, you can't really prove that it wasn't. But I don't believe that it was created last Thursday. Although, I mean, to some degree, everything is just electrical impulses. You know, whether you believe that the world is real or you believe that the world is a simulation, you're correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not actually a difference between the two opinions. Oh, the world's not real. It's just a bunch of electrical impulses. Oh, really? Because I knew that. I knew everything. All of your senses, everything's just a bunch of electrical impulses. Some spin of some quarks and whatnot. Same. There's no argument to be had. All right. Oh, wait. All right, so I don't know about, I don't know how this is going to work. I was thinking for the credit card, I'd actually like to modify my placeholder function. I don't know if it'll actually have any value though. But I'd like to modify my placeholder function so that you have to do a little bit more work to get the card info. But the problem is, and this brings up to the point that somebody was bringing the other day, is that if I do that, then I'm just going to add an abstraction over top of it to do it for me. And at the point that I add an abstraction over top of it to do it for me, then there's no sense in having it do more work. Because if you create the work and then you abstract it away, then you haven't created any work. I mean, the CPU does work, but it's, for anybody using it, there's no difference. So the main thing is, and actually to the point of the person who brought it up the other day, the main thing is having just a distinct different, it's just there should be a different access mechanism. So for example, maybe my function should be reveal card detail. Right? So rather than my function being toString and then passing in something, which I thought, whatever, we used to JSON, reuse toString, whatever. So instead of doing that, what my function probably ought to be is something like reveal card detail or reveal detail. And so for the information that needs to never be used other than for the operation of the fingerprint and the operation of the create vault entity. Those are the only two instances in which the card number should ever be revealed. And the fingerprint should only be revealed. Actually, it should basically be a one-way encryption of. I want to do a one-way encryption on the fingerprint of the card, just so that there is some separation, because the database is going to be in a different container than the application is going to be in. And so if somehow the database, someone gets access to the database container, the only way I think they would be able to do that is if they had access to a whole account. So again, it's like, if you add complexity that causes people to do stupid things to work around the complexity, then you are the stupidest person out of the group of people involved in that interaction, because you made it so that the stupid way was the way that otherwise smart people felt like they had to do things. And I don't know. It's a sensitive issue. I haven't worked through it all. I was thinking about it as I was going to sleep last night, but it's what level. But the point of the fingerprint is not useful. It's not reversible. And so if we hash it and then we encrypt it, all the better, because encrypting it is going to mean that the attacker would need two pieces of information, which they likely have. Because, like I said, if they get access to the database, they probably got access to the management console that has the environment, the environment secrets. They probably got access to the secrets vault. How do you get access to the database and the and if they got access to the application, this, so there's like a little bit of a toss up here in terms of, is it beneficial? Maybe not. I don't know. I got to think about it. But in any case, I do want to use some encryption. I want that to be part of this project. But if I'm doing it in a dumb way that causes someone else to do stupid that ends up being worse, then obviously that, it's better to make it easier for people to do the right thing than it is to do something that's more complex for an attacker that's most likely going to have access to all the things that he would need anyway. Okay. User created ads which have evolved over the few years. The same chapter ends in, are we just a brain that exists for a few microseconds to hallucinate the existence only to disappear afterwards? The question is a lie. Woof. Compilation is about the journey, not the end result. Wise nod. Abstraction? Yeah, okay. So anyway, but what I really want to get to is, and I'm going to go do this over here, .env.secret. I like to have a .env and a .env.secret for the streaming purposes. I'm going to, I have a Sandbox account, if I can go find out where it is. I think it's actually on the other computer. Let's see. I'm gonna open up the other computer so I can get my Sandbox account credentials, and I'm gonna put them in this repository. And we need to make sure that our .ignore here, or .getignore, do we have env in here? .env, that should just be .env.star. I don't know why you got to go through all those things. Just .env.star. And then not env.star, but .env.star. Particularly, we need example.env. Well, so star.env, but not example.env. That's the way I like to do it. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna pull up this other one, and then we're actually gonna hit the API, and we're gonna see what we get. I might have to hit it off. It depends. Like I said, I don't want to reveal the information about even the Sandbox account, if I can avoid it. There's some level of, let's see, I'd like to get another Sandbox account. Okay. All right, let me check out the API key again, letter by letter. Okay, so that looks right to me. And yeah, so what I'm trying, one of the things I'm trying to abstract away here, where'd my Fluid Pay API documentation go? Okay, base URLs. Where did that go? I was just looking at that and then it disappeared. Yeah, I would like to get it directly from Fluid Pay for our Sandbox API, but right now we have a Sandbox API from one of the partners we're going to be using. The goal is to be using multiple partners so that we have multiple layers of resistance to, and that's where our vendor ID may come into, like, may change, is we may internally have multiple salts so that our vendors cannot be correlated. Okay, so this is the thing I want to hit, is customer vault. And really, I just want to create a card. That's all I want to do. But I don't think I can create a card without creating a customer. And in reality, here's the problem. Okay. If you try to create a card without creating a customer, because it would be cool, like the idea of, oh, let's have anonymous accounts where as long as you have a credit card, you can get an account. Well, guess what happens? People with stolen credit cards, meaning essentially organized crime, okay, a crime that is organized, that, like, there's a process with it, they have bot accounts, etc., etc. So what they do is they just run credit cards against your system to see if a nominal charge will work. So we have to have a rate limit on how many cards we can accept from an IP address at a time. I mean, there's a lot to think about if we wanted to allow anonymous card usage. It's probably just not going to work out. Did I literally blow a bubble out of my mouth? That is the first time that has ever happened in my life. I don't think I've ever, because you know how you get little bubbles in your mouth while you're moving your tongue and it just, I blew one out of my mouth accidentally. I don't know if you saw that, but that was amazing. Anyway, so yeah, the problem is that you can run a card without creating an account. Guest checkout happens all the time, right? But there's so much crap you have to deal with that, because the more verification you've done on the user, the more costly it is. So you need to, okay, so let me actually put this down in the issue here. Okay, so let's go back. We don't need to have that one open anymore, I don't think. We can just take a look at this, but, well, okay. Oh, wow, that's a lot of, oh, it's commits. Okay. I don't think we've had that many pull requests, have we? No, that makes sense. 4. Okay, and now the stupid typo that I had isn't here. I had 16, 19, or 24. I don't know how that happened. It's 16, 24, or 32. But I fixed it. Hopefully nobody noticed. By the way, give a star if you want to. Let the one who guide you. A real man has to have soap dispenser-like qualities. Yes, of course. Okay, so one of the things we're gonna have to do is limit number of cards by IP, limit number of card attempts per account. But I really would like what I want is a frictionless process for getting the person's credit card because the problem with the credit card that the industry has done is like, hey, just give us your credit card and we won't charge you asterisk for the first 13 hours. After that, it's only $6,000 a year. You know, there's all that crap that goes on in the industry. And so how do you get it to be like, hey, you want to sign up for a free account? No problem. Just put in your credit card. Like it's not a big deal. We're not going to charge you. We're not going to push you. We're not going to hassle you. There's no hidden fees. Like, how do you communicate? How do you communicate? You know, we're just going to do an off without a capture on your card to make sure that you're a legit human. And then there could be varying amounts of that. You know, we could off for $100 or we could off for $1,000. I'm not going to auth for $10. That's not worth it. If you can only auth at $10, you are not a real person. It is a fake card. It's like a gift card or something. I don't want to do that. So even if the service is only $1 a year, I'm going to auth you at $100 because the process of authing is testing to see if that amount puts the person over their credit limit. So there's auth and there's capture. Auth is you test to see. So when the best case of this is, whenever you get gas, your card is authorized for $80. And then when you pump the gas, your card is captured for the amount that you actually pump. So depending on the time of day, you may see on your credit card report. I mean, there are times, usually this doesn't happen, but occasionally it will, where you can see the auth hang around. So you'll see Quickie Mart, $80, Quickie Mart, $35. Like, what? But it'll be under pending transactions. That'll be the $80, and it'll be under finalized transactions. It'll be the $35. And so what happened was they did an auth and capture on your card for $80. And then they did a capture on your card for $35. And sometimes I'm thinking in my own case, what may have happened is that the one pump didn't work. You know, like I try to get the pump to work and then, you've had this problem, right? So then you drive to the very next pump and then that one works. That may have been how that's happened in my case. But also sometimes, you just see the pending charge hang out for a little while. Honestly, I think banks should have a cash auth service. I don't know. What do you mean by that? How do you auth cash without capturing cash? Anyway, so we need to severely limit the number of card attempts by IP address, by account. So, One problem that we had one time with this, though, was we tried to get in a classroom to sign up for an account on AWS because they were offering a free tier at the time. Man, do I regret some of my early decisions with free tier crap. I helped onboard a generation of people, not the whole generation, just a classroom of 20 people, into doing the dumbest thing they could possibly do, giving Amazon their credit card. Anyway, we want an auth and capture process, so we're going to have to limit attempts by IP address and by account and by other measures. Let's see. There we go. An ACH off. Okay, ask if an account has cash without transferring that cash out. I agree with you. I'm on board with that. Okay. So, let me see. Oh, I put away that other computer, but I think I already had the working function for this on the other computer. Let me double check. Okay. Did I do this with fetch? I did. Oh, okay. I kind of wrote the customer record function over here. Okay. One of the things that I love about Apple, and there's a lot to not love, but one of the things I love about Apple is, let me show you this. So we're going to pass in some ops here, got some to do, and then boom, that's from my other computer. Freak amazing, right? Am I right? Okay, why is that griping at me? Oh, async. And then I'll have to... Let me see if I can get GPT to translate. Let's do create customer record. I'm going to try asking it to transform this table into JSDoc. Oh, okay, that's it right there. Let me just see what happens. I'm going to, whoops, let me, translate this table of request properties into JSDoc. Let's see what it gives me. Okay, let's just stop it right there. Broken down by object. Oh, I broke it. I broke GPT. Oh, no, it's working. It's doing it. You're doing it, Peter. All right, here we go. Behold the glory. I don't know if it got it right, but this is probably a good start. Man, I mean that boilerplate stuff is where GPT just shines. Bright like a diamond. All right, I like to put the types down at the bottom here. And then object containing the default shipping address. No, we'll just get rid of the useless ones. And then it's probably a little too verbose on some of these things. It actually didn't put it in JS doc. It put it in the TypeScript JS doc. But, you know, we'll go with it. I don't think that ID is optional here. It also should do array, string, not TypeScript notation. Oh, that thunderstorm sounds awesome. Default payment. So I guess it's saying it can be nullable. Is that true? Is that what this is saying? Default? Hey, generated value. Hey. All right, all right. Okay, you may provide a custom ID. All right. Oh, garbage. Okay, the ID of the customer. All right, well, that tells us what we need to know there. Okay, I don't think that we'll use this one. Okay. Where we at? Honestly, most of the things that aren't Apple... Wait. Most of the things aren't Apple being good. It's just that others are somehow too blind to copy a feature that's useful. Yeah. I mean, Apple's getting pretty bad at this since Steve Jobs left, but I will say that it's not revolutionary to be like, hey, you know, it'd be really nice if I could copy on my phone and paste on my laptop. That's not like a world-changing idea. Like, whoa! No, it's just like, duh. You know, of course I want to be able to copy from one computer and paste to the other computer without having to send an email. You know, it's the airdrop of copy paste. But then airdrop is kind of dumb because it literally only works over Wi-Fi. You have to jump through hoops to enable it over Ethernet these days. I think they completely disabled it working over Ethernet. So I could be wrong, but I don't think it works on Ethernet at all anymore. But what they do to make the Wi-Fi wicked fast on AirDrop is pretty amazing. Well, I mean, I guess it'd be obvious if you were an RF engineer, but you know, from somebody who's just used to Wi-Fi, the whole concept that there's extra antennas, or I don't know if that's actually what it is. There's extra signals. AirDrop is its own signal. So it uses Bluetooth and Wi-Fi to get AirDrop connected, but AirDrop doesn't happen over the Wi-Fi. AirDrop is a proprietary protocol. Computer to computer, device to device. it may work in tandem over the other protocols, but airdrop has been a lot of different things. I don't know how many revisions of airdrop there's been, but airdrop is the way that you interact with the technology. The underlying technology has changed from one generation to the next. Yeah, so direct peer-to-peer. You get faster transfers over airdrop than you do over Wi-Fi. So if you adjust your Wi-Fi speed, airdrop's faster than that. I mean, it depends. There's caveats, there's, edge cases, but in the happy path where it's, here's my phone, here's my laptop, we're in Bluetooth distance, airdrop is peer-to-peer. 8 billion Llama 3 is as good as GPT 3.5. Home PC runnable. Yeah. Dude, those things run so well on an M1. Basic file transfer is apparently a revolution we can imagine just haven't implemented. Well, I mean, it's that XKCD, right? It's the truth. Okay, and saying that the default is null. Okay, so this default payment, this would be card payment details, I think. Default billing address, shipping address. Oh. Okay, billing address details and shipping address details. It's just address details. Pretty sure. I could be wrong about that. I will double check it. But still, I love that. I mean, this is something that's great. This saved me time. This was worth it. Okay, address details. Fax number, phone number, email, country code, postal code, state code, city name, additional delivery, street address, company name, addressee, last name, addressee, first name. I don't think anything's different there. Yeah, so that was extra. Okay. Vaulted customer. We can just call it that. We can say, they call this something else. Merchant initiated transaction, customer initiated transaction. Yeah, I said that this is just credit card and expiration date. The customer. Yeah. So the billing details will have. Okay, right. Okay. I don't know what this account type does. I've seen this be used incorrectly. I think CCD. So this is another thing. I'm going to tell it to extract enum types. Type def. Option 1. Option 2. Option 3. Options. Let's see if it can pull out the enums it's identified. And then whatever is allowed to be null, let's go find that out real quick. So null should actually be like this. Not like that. Expected ending. Stored credit card. Stored ACH. Well, I guess it's just stored card. We don't know if it's credit. Yeah, there we go. That can be null. I'd actually prefer to say that it's required. It's just required to be null. All right, cool. And it was able to do this for me as well. So let me go ahead and pull this out. And then we can change that from string. And it looks like we can have it be blank. So actually, I'd rather do this. I'd rather say it's ACH account type or empty string. Okay, ACH set code or empty string. And then this would be cool. We probably don't need to, because this is ACH already, so we probably don't need to repeat ACH, 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 ACH all over the place. Okay, that looks nice. All right, so that's pretty cool. So PCI does not forbid that the CVC cannot touch the file system. For example, you might write out a temporary file that contains some data and then read it back in. It doesn't preclude you from doing that. It's clear that it's disallowing Um, ooh, that's good. Sorry, it's disallowing in non-temporary storage. So, I don't know what the term would be. I forget how they say it, but yeah, this is ridiculous. I really don't like those types of comments. Just don't do them. Good to know. Make an enum for the 50 state codes and the few U.S. territories. All right. Yes. Did I break it? Might have. Oh no! I might have broken it. I'm just gonna hit the redo button. Nice. Oh, we got one I didn't think of. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico. I don't know what MP is. GU is that. I don't know what that is either, actually. DC. And I say, put those in a table for me to see. District of Columbia, American Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands. Crazy. Oh no, it's getting choked up. It's getting choked up. Keep going. You can do it. You can do it. It's weird how sometimes it just stops in the middle of an answer. All right, here we go. Boom. Check that out. I think it's right. I mean, I'll certainly check, but so good at boilerplate. So good at boilerplate. All right, cool. That's cool. And then if we wanted to make this continental, so check this out. We could do continental state codes. right? This is how I like to do this one. So, what do they call it? Contiguous. Contiguous. Okay. Well, that's not what I wanted. So we do contiguous state code or non-contiguous state code, territory code. So we can do this. And then, whoops, we can call this thing state code. And then we can do, I thought it was continental. It might be lying to me. It's okay. I mean, we can fix it later. It's not a huge deal. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to... Okay, so here are the territory codes. So territory code. Non-contiguous state code. So that would be basically just Alaska and what's Hawaii? H. The HI? Is that it? Okay, so let's say it's this. Does that work for everybody? Anybody have an objection or a suggestion? I mean, I could probably split these up. Okay, so we're going to do a concat here. And yeah, I'm going to break these up too. put in Alaska. Was it HI? Hawaii? Hawaii. People from Hawaii say Hawaii's so weird. Do you ever meet a person from Hawaii? They're like, Hawaii. Hawaii. I mean, I shouldn't make fun of them because it's like, it's where they live. It's their place. But it's just so weird. All the rest of us call it Hawaii, and they're like, Hawaii. I don't know how to... Like, it's going to sound like I'm making fun of them, which I kind of am. I'm more pointing it out than trying to make fun. Like, I'm not trying to mock in the way I'm pronouncing it. I'm trying to pronounce it the way that they pronounce it, and I don't know how. Duck and cat, duck and cat. Okay, I am pretty sure that yeah. Why is it telling me that no method over... Whoa. Oh, I see what's going on here. I see what's going on here. It wants a type for state. Yeah, it wants a type for state. So I have to type def state, and then I have to do at prop. Oh, and I'm going to get rid of all those properties and make them just prop. So prop, and really this is, this would be really interesting to just do, can I do like A through Z? I don't know if it lets me do that. You can do kind of regexy things. Two-letter code of state, territory, or district. Name of state or territory with punctuation. All right. And this really got to go somewhere else. Whatever. And then, so we're going to do a type on this. And it's going to be an array of state. And I'm confused as to why it's still upset about this. Let's try opening this up again. Whoops. All right, how about we do this then? We'll do that full thing, and then we'll do the concat. Now is it happy? Okay, now it's happy. Okay. I just wanted to separate those out for whatever purpose. I don't need to right here, right now. I just, whatever, you know. Ugh. CA? No way. 84601. I really like the 5+4. That's my favorite. All right, so we got to do a bunch of things here. One, we got to change all of this at property to just at prop. Like sane people. Okay, next thing is we have to change all of this equals nothing to just nothing. And then we need to find any of the equals period. Okay, let's see where we can find this surcharge exempt. Holy flip dip. All right, here we go. If I could only copy and paste, my only wish, if I could just get it to that. There we go. And then, what is this, flags? Okay. All right, so we pretty much got this at this point. All right, good. So those are all the types. So now we've got good type checking. And I would call this, I'd probably prefix all of these with FP. Maybe. Cool, there we go. All right, I object, but no ways to fix it. Okay, well, could you be more specific with your feedback, please? Maybe that's your next comment. Those note I will disagree whenever possible, even if it is illogical. Obviously, they're the ones who are wrong. Well, yes, that's obvious. Why do you even bother to repeat that? That's a waste of breath. That's a waste of energy in the universe. You're creating entropy for no good reason. Please stop. So another neat thing is when you start mixing in patterns with types. So instead of just an enum, if you have a pattern, and then you have to enforce the pattern. So I guess that's like the non-zero thing. That's something that we ought to have in languages is patterns. And TypeScript does have that to its credit. Now, I think there's no, TypeScript, of course, takes it too far. I don't know how, but I know that they do because it's TypeScript. And I worry that, you know, if it can be taken too far too easily, then we just need to say, okay, it was a nice idea, but no, don't do it. Okay. All right, so now that we've got all of our type information there, what's the next step? The next step, I think, is actually to say that this param takes vaulted customer. All right, there we go. That seems reasonable. Okay, opt has implicitly any type. Well, I don't know what type it should have, so we can just get rid of it. No, it has to have, there's got to be okay, let's do this. Base URL, API key. And then we'll have to have type def, payment, API options. And then we have prop, string, base URL, example, and then let's give what their example is for a base URL. I don't need a good reason for entropy. It is a pastime activity. Okay. Honestly, you probably always need a Haskell person in the language design team so you can ask them which ideas that could be taken too far. Before I finish the sentence, I knew that's where it was going, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, you don't ask them what could be taken too far. You just ask them what they would do, and that's taking it too far. All right. Payment API options. Payment API options. Payment API options. All right, what did I do wrong? What? Oh, tip def rather than type def. Okay. Vaulted customer. Vaulted customer. Oh, right. Customer. There we go. All right, let's go fix all the things. Status. Okay, yeah, I can do that. How about this? Boom. So I wish that we didn't have to do this, but do I show why this is in this case? No, I don't. Object.assign E, and what we want to assign is the body as text. Response body. There we go. I hate this so much. Why? This is a big question for me. Why did TypeScript decide that it was going to let the type of E be an any here? That is an error, okay? If the type that you catch is not an error, it basically if somewhere in your code you're throwing a number or you're throwing a string, That's where the error should show up. The error should not show up here. That really bugs me. I wish I could overload that. It should be of a base type. So there's, I don't remember exactly how you do it. But so basically, first of all, everything should be duck typed. Everything should be a template type. That is what JavaScript is made for. TypeScript goes both too far and not far enough. It goes too far in all of its complexity, but not far enough in terms of just using the basic JavaScript types. So everything is essentially a subclass, or a base class. Everything can be extended. So anytime I have an error or whatever I have, that can be extended. Ugh. So right here, this is the reason I use object.assign, I kid you not, is because I believe it was in the TypeScript Checker 5. It might have been before then. I could totally be wrong, and maybe it's been there the whole time and I just didn't know it. But I started using object.assign because in my language, that is how you extend. That is how you show that you're extending something. Because if you assign a property that isn't there, that's an error. But this is creating a new type. This is a comp time type, is what this is. So the compiler sees this and knows, oh, okay, this object is being extended. And I believe that I was added in TypeScript 5 because in TypeScript 4, I thought that this was still an error. There were definitely things in TypeScript 5 that actually match my language. And so patterns that I was using that previously I had to do TS ignores on just started working and I didn't have to do TS ignores anymore. I was pretty happy about that. All right, so I'm not sure what I was going to do with this one. I'm just going to say throw new error. All right, so error.code. What was I going to put here? No, I was going to do error.request and then show body and text. No, in this case, I could do body and data. I suppose I could do JSON and text like this. That kind of makes sense. Or like that? I don't know. Again, object.assign, give it error. See, it gives you a type error, but then when you switch it up just a touch, boom, now it's happy. Okay, so I want to, and this is going to be something that needs to be in a lot of places. So what I'm going to do, I've created APIs like this before. In fact, it's one of those things where I wish I just had a template for generating this. Because this right here, all of this is just standard boilerplate. Try to get the JSON. If you can't get the JSON, take the text. The reason we have to take the text first is because the JSON might not parse. If the JSON doesn't parse, the text is consumed. You can't see what the text is. Text is most likely an error message, so you want to see the error message. So that's why I don't use the resp.json, because if you use resp.json, you can't get access to the error. So, you know, pro tip kind of thing. Anyway. Okay. Status code? Let me ask GPT. All right, let's see. All right. Well, I broke GPT. It gave me its answer was that rest.status is a quantum property, and that depending on what you want, it will log the status code or the message. Status text. Okay. There we go. I asked the question a different way. And I don't, generally speaking, I don't want the headers. Okay. Well, at least right now, I don't want the headers. I don't want the URL. I don't want the headers. If this thing fails, I want it to fail secretly. Okay. So there's create customer. And I guess when we create the customer, we can create the default card. So let's go create customer record. And we can give the ID. And for us, yeah, I think that I made that non-optional. This one we can just ignore. It's funny that it doesn't show that that default is quotes there. Default payment. .card .number. Okay, default payment. So GPT did it wrong. Surprise, surprise. And so it is not this. It is this. Or it can be token. And I'm actually totally okay to put that in there. But, okay, how would you... this is a little bit weird. How would you have gotten that token? So that's something I'd like to know. All right, so let's take a look at that token again. Payment method token. Tokenizer. Okay. Where's tokenizer? Deprecated. So I think for our purposes, that's not going to go there. Because the way that we're going to get the token, and I hope I'm not wrong with this, so we should be able to create a payment method, and then we should be able to get payment method ID. Interesting. Interesting. So we will need a double layer abstraction. Okay, create a payment method. Will this show payment methods? Okay, payments. ACH cards. Masked number. ID. That's going to be the ID that we provide? Let me double check on that. Do we provide that ID? Stored card. Card number. Okay, we do not provide the ID. We provide a customer ID. See. Whoops. That's weird. That's weird to me that create payment method token. Okay. We had to do that here anyway. So create payment method. We still get the token no matter which way we do it. So it's kind of weird to me that we have to get the customer in order to get the payments, but I guess not. I mean, it's information you're going to use all the time, so that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we create an address record. We create payment method record, get payment record by ID. But what additional is here? Because that doesn't even make sense. Card request body props. Card request body props. Oh, this is ACH? Okay, so where was that set code? Yeah, ACH set code. Okay. Token sample body request or sample body response. It's going to be a customer, gives back the customer. Delete payment method. Ha! Okay, that makes more sense. Well, it's interesting that it doesn't say that for the listing, you know? Because I'm like, where do you list it? All right, but that makes sense. I'll buy that. They're selling it at half price. I'll buy it. Okay, so the question is, how do we abstract away this customer? Can we switch? This is one thing I'd want to know. And we'll have to test out. Okay. Move token between customer accounts. Because it actually would be nice to be able to say, okay, let's consider this other scenario, right? So you have an account and you're going to create a sub account. So there's your personal account, there's your business account, maybe you got another account. So you're going to create these sub accounts. And you want to be able to say, okay, just add my payment method from my account that I already have, add that as one of the payment methods for this account. This is where I would want to see that work. So what we need to do is we need to create a test for this. I'm going to go ahead and whip it. And let's create a test for it. And then after that, I'll move on to the other stuff that I needed to do the day before yesterday. But I just have been taking a break from. Go to the tests, fingerprint, test function. Okay. Okay, that should not work. Well, maybe it should because everything's optional. It shouldn't work because not everything's optional. This shouldn't work either. Why is this not? Oh, because... Hey, wait, how did that node 10 get in there? That got into this one too. Something's going wrong where module resolution is being set to node 10, but I don't know why. I'll have to check into that again. Include tests. There we go. Um, I should probably call this, rather than payments, I should probably call it Pay API everywhere. Pay API ops, and then this should... Okay, good. All right, type checking is working. That's good. Create customer. Oh, I never return anything from here, do I? Oops, not dash C dash W. Huh, interesting. JSWT issues. All right, and then Okay. So what's next? All right. Yes. There we go. Okay. All right, so we're going to need 2 layers of abstraction. We're going to need customer to card ID. Okay, so this is what we need. Um, that was funny. Okay, so what I was saying was funny was I wanted to see what would happen when I asked GPT to turn this into a table inside of a JS comment block, and it disappointed, unfortunately. Okay. Let's see. So, PAN card number goes to fingerprint. Indexed ID. All right, so this is what we're looking at. We get the card number. We produce a fingerprint. We use the fingerprint to create an indexed ID. We use the indexed ID to look up or create a customer. And we use the customer to look up the token ID. So that's how this works. So this is going to need access to some sort of storage engine. I'm not going to put that there quite yet. But yeah, we're gonna need some way to associate between card number to fingerprint, fingerprint to indexed ID, indexed ID to customer ID. So we're going to have fingerprint and indexed ID in one table in our database, indexed ID and customer ID in another table in our database. We're going to be able to index by either fingerprint ID or indexed ID. Indexed ID will be the primary key. Fingerprint will not be the primary key. So that will be PK. Customer ID will be PK. And then token ID, we may not even store the token ID. We might only do token ID in memory. Trying to think, would we need to look up the token ID at some point? That depends. Maybe. It depends on whether or not the token ID is the same between customers, which I hope that it is. I hope that it is just referencing the card and it's not a reference to the card and the customer. Because if it's a reference to the card and the customer, then we probably actually do need to guarantee that the customer has their own salt. So that just doesn't make sense. All right, anyway. Let's see what this message says. Hopefully it tells me what is missing. Okay, is that true? Does the ID go at the top level? So when we create customer record? Looks like it does. Oh, hey! Okay, does this actually say custom ID anywhere? Because that showed owner ID, which is, I'm guessing, what we send. All right, so we set it as ID, but we receive it back as owner ID. ID format. And because of the way this works, I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, I think update customer record. Defaults. Okay, I think I'm going to skip doing everything on create and rather create the customer and then call update on the customer afterwards. because I want this to be as idempotent as possible. And although it would be faster to do it all at once, it just seems like it's not the right place. So we would just set up defaults. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, tomato, potato. Let me think about it for a second. We have to see if the customer exists. Yeah, okay, let's try creating the same customer twice in a row. That's what I'm going to do. So we're just going to create a customer. We're going to have the ID be banana. How about Foobar 3000 instead? I was going to say banana phone, but... Okay, this meets the requirement. Oh, whoops. This is not going to work. So this is not going to work because what we need is... In this case, I don't think that we actually need the headers. So let's just say we return the data. And then let's take a look at this. What does this give us back? Sample response body gives us back IDs. It does not give us back URLs. Good. Which I actually don't want. I don't want to delete this back URLs. So, response status, success. Okay, message success. Got it. That's where they're getting that from. Okay, so that's why I had data equals success. So if data dot message not equal success. That was interesting. I didn't catch that. Wait, is this? Huh. Check it out. Didn't catch it. Isn't that weird? Because that can be undefined. Because it's never assigned right here. Type checker bug. There's somebody I really would like to work with on language tooling. Because I think he would get it. I not just he would get it. I think he would nail it. I wish that we had, $200,000, $300,000. We could just work on the best language tooling in existence for a while. I think it could be done within that budget. I think we could take lessons learned and create the best language tooling that has ever existed for a browser language within that budget. Oh, sorry, I didn't see some of those comments coming through. Honestly, you always need a Haskell person in the language design team. Yeah. That one we did. The negative idea generator. Yep. Tip def is just a word for sharpness. My brain. Circa right now. Tip def. Tip def. I think that meant, in context, if I saw that at the time that it came in, I might know what that meant. 10. Okay. Oh yeah, so this looks good. Tip definition. I am hoping that this will fail when I run it again. Great. Tell me why this wasn't successful. Customer already exists. Yes. Okay. So let me, so that you can enjoy this with me. Customer already exists. That's what I wanted, because I ran the test twice. Now let's change it to foobar 3001. All right. And let me make sure that everything I get back is what I expect. There's custom fields, defaults. Interesting. Interesting. Because some of the defaults are empty string and other of the defaults are null, which is a bit weird. Do not share. What is that about? Customer data, do not share. That's not in the documentation. Could be an older implementation, newer implementation. Payments, shared. Is shared in here? Might be some vendor specific stuff that I just don't know about. Anyway, I'll go ahead so that you can enjoy this with me. Boom. Oh, whoops. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. So, message success, created customer, addresses, defaults, blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of, I mean, that's kind of dumb for all the work that we did with the types and everything, all built up to this. Not very exciting, but point is, it worked. So, yeah, I don't want to send the card data at the time of creating the customer. I would rather go through the extra steps of creating the customer, updating the customer. Now, what I do wonder is, okay, and we should see data. Do we see owner ID? Okay, this bothers me. ID, owner ID. Okay, I'm a little confused. Owner ID, partner ID. Owner ID, partner ID. There might be some vendor stuff going on. Okay, so the ID, the owner ID. Owner ID must be my sandbox account. Partner ID must be, well, that might be me. That might be our ID, or owner ID might be our ID, and then partner ID may be the one of these is the vendor ID. One of these is the vendor ID. One of these is the tenant ID. So it may be we are a, well, depending on how, there's tenanted tenants. Let's say the instance ID and the tenant ID under the instance. The way these payment APIs work. You typoed tip def. I typoed tip def. What? How did I didn't type tip def. How could I typo tip def if I didn't type it? All right. Now I'm gonna have a way to. I'm gonna have a delete test customers. Oh, this is not really a test per se. It's kind of. Okay. Let me go take a look at this. And then I'm going to call this done and move on to my real work for the day. Which may extend into the night. Create placeholder, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'd like to see, what does it look like? Okay, that looks good. Add PCI compliant. Card fingerprints. Okay, so I literally just created the fingerprint function, not the fingerprint functionality. So all I was doing was testing. Okay, that's good. I would just rename that a little bit so that's more clear to my future self. Okay. And then this one. Oh, that had some stuff in here that should have. Let's truncate. And we'll have a little bug fix there. Okay. Actually, be nice to update. All right. Well, I think I've got this at a good place to pause. Let's see. Do we check anything off the roadmap? Okay, we got API access. So what we're going to need to do here, create user. Delete all test users. All right, so that's what we got coming up for next time. So I'm going to take a short break, and then I'm going to jump on the Dash Incubator channel, and I'm going to continue my work there. Alrighty. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you later. Adios.